All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and if anything's blurry, which I see my webcam might be, or off, or weird, it's because I just moved. So,
there you go.
Still figuring everything out. Just a half hour ago, I hit up Johnny. I was like, dude, my computer's not even turning on. And luckily, I was able to hustle it together. So we're going to get right into it. My guy, Wiz, what's up, brother? Thank you for
tuning up, Wiz?
in. And all right, so welcome to UFC Vegas 68. I think this is like episode 46 of the Couch Warrior podcast.
Nice.
I'm your host, as always, Mike, and today I'm joined by Johnny K. Picks, my guy. What's up, Johnny? Are you hyped for this interesting card?
I'll say yes. First, I wasn't. And then I did some tape study, and I'm like, there's going to be some fun fights. I think there's going to be a lot of violence as well. So that always, no matter what the name value is, it's always fun to watch some knockouts or submissions. But I'm really interested to see the Road to UFC fights. I didn't watch any of that. I don't know if you did or not, but you did all of them. Oh, well, yeah, of course you're going to watch that. That was a dumb question. But yeah, I didn't stay up to watch that stuff. It was way past my bedtime. So, but I did some of the tape and I watched some of those fights too, and they looked really fun. And I think this is gonna be a pretty decent card. Like I said, name value not the greatest, but I still think it'll be fun. And betting wise, might be a little sketchy, so you have to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, betting wise, I'm like I go, once I get a read, I go for it, but then afterwards I just look at the bet and I'm like, what am I doing? And that's called overthinking, so I'm trying not to do that. I've got quite a few spots I'm hyped to talk about, quite a few spots I'm looking at, trying to see what Johnny thinks. Maybe that'll help me get on. And yeah, we'll hop right in. Say hi to the chat real quick.
Prince?
The Mischief, my guy Giallo. Thank you for in. And all right, we'll hop right into the card. For this first one, I doubt we need much time for it. We've got Tatsuro Taira versus, is it Jesus or Jesus?
I always say Jesus. He's Mexican, correct?
Yeah,
so I think it's Jesus. I think it's Jesus then.
All right, that's what I've been saying. All right, Tatsuro Taira, 12-0, undefeated as a pro, 23 years old. He's 5'7" with a 70-inch reach, training out of the Paristra Okinawa. On the other side, we got Jesus Aguilar. He's 8-1-0, 26 years old, 5'4", so he's 3 inches shorter, 63-inch reach, so he's given up a 7-inch reach disadvantage. He's literally got T-Rex arms. Yep. Johnny, why don't you start us off for this one?
Well, unfortunately, this won't be a hot take, so I'm going to say Tatsuro is going to win this one. I'm really impressed with this kid. I think he's got very good striking. He's very composed when he's on his feet. He's got very good slick submissions, good grappling as well. His one little red flag for me would maybe be his takedowns in wrestling, trying to get the fight to the mat if he tries to go for those takedowns. But other than that, I think he's really, really solid. Really young still, so he's got room to improve. Aguilar, I mean, he's solid too. He's very tough. He's got good grappling himself. He's got tricky guillotines, if you want to say. I think he's got 4 or 5 in his career. And his striking is pretty solid as well, but he's going to be the shorter guy, like you said. And Tatsuro's is going to be the bigger guy here. And I just like Tatsuro pretty much everywhere, even if it's just a little bit. So give me Taira. I think he gets the submission later in the fight. I think he might take the back, and then I think he'll get the rear naked choke. I don't see a knockout because I really think Aguilar is very tough on the feet. So give me Taira by maybe late second or third round submission.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to disagree on the side. Real quick, Prince of Mischief, a bed without a headboard. Why, Mike? Why? I just moved, man. I've been unpacking for 3 damn days. You'll see my wall is bare. I'm getting all my stuff up. My girlfriend apparently got me a big-ass thing with the Couch Warrior logo. So hopefully by next week, we'll have a decent-looking room. Still have to figure out my monitor, too. Like I said, I put this all together within like an hour just so we can do the stream. But in terms of what I'm thinking for this fight, I mean, obviously I'm on Taira. I couldn't help myself with Taira inside the distance. I've been eyeing it since last week because it opened at minus 135 on 5 dimes, minus 154 on Betway. Like, if we got those prices, I'd be all in. We got minus 240. It opened minus 200, and I was like, F it. I played it. True. 2.4 units to win 1. Like you said, like, first off, the grappling, I think Taira all day. He got taken down in his Dana White's Contender Series fight. The guy, unfortunately, gassed and had a horrible fight IQ. But Taira's smart. You watch him in the cage, he's young, But if you watch the way he goes for takedowns, he makes sure that his head is on the side so you can't get your guillotine. And what's Aguilar's favorite move? The guillotine.
Yep.
He's going to be able to get it here. I think a KO might be possible only because he's got a 7-inch reach advantage and Aguilar has horrible striking defense. Like he cannot protect himself. So I think maybe that's a path. I'm not going to play it. I'm good with my ITD and that's it. Unfortunately, can't do much else. I would have loved to parlay with Taira up, but minus 1,200.
Do you have the odds up real quick? I just thought of something that might be okay. What's Taira submission or decision? Double chance. Out of curiosity.
So I don't think that stuff's up yet. We have like the basics still.
Okay. That's something I was kind of thinking in the back of my head too. Maybe some. I don't think there's going to be a knockout, but it could be because, like you said, 7-inch reach advantage on the feet. That's a pretty big discrepancy there. So
you think
I like the submission or decision.
You think Aguilar could survive 3 rounds though with Taira?
I think he could, possibly. I think he can survive more so. Just don't think Taira can get that knockout. I know he has slick striking. Don't get me wrong.
How about a TKO?
I mean, ground and pound. That's true. I didn't think about that. I'm thinking on the feet. So, yeah. Either way, I like the inside the distance. I'm just thinking about sub or decision maybe. And what's the over under? Is it 1.5 or 2.5?
They're not telling us. Honestly.
Interesting.
On Betway, it has both. It's minus 138 for the over 1.5, plus 120 for the over 2.5. I imagine we're going to get the 1.5, I think. Because even though they're flyweights, with the line this wide, you got to think.
I don't like, if it is 1.5, I kind of like the over, whatever it's at.
Really? I guess because Aguilar's tough, right?
I think it's going to be in the second round at the earliest. So he's going to have to sweat 2.5 minutes one way or another, depending on what you like.
Word. All right. So same side, different plays, but we're going to move on to something closer. We've got Jeong Yeong Park versus Denis Tiuiulin. Park is 15-5-0. He's 31 years old, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. And so it says on here that it's Korean top team. I could have sworn that he spent time at Sanford MMA, but I could be wrong there. On the other side with Tiuiulin, he's 11-6-0, 34, so he's 3 years older. 6'1", so he's going to be 3 inches taller with a 77-inch reach with a 4-inch reach advantage. So I already made my play, and what I did was I played Denis decision no action because the way I look at it is at range, I think Denis is the much better striker. In close, I guess you can give it to Park. He's a good boxer, but I think it's going to be tight there. It could be either one. Then on the other side with the grappling, I know a lot of people are thinking Park can take him down. Maybe once. I honestly don't think so, though. Because if you look at it, when Denis is getting out grappled, we're talking about guys like Iliskarov, like who's the last one? Khizriev. So I don't know that Park is on that level of grappling. And if you look at the people who aren't as good, like who was the last guy Denis fought in blanking? Who's not very good at all?
Pickett.
Pickett shot 4 times. And say what you want about Pickett. I know he's horrible, but he does wrestle well. He's a good wrestler. Yeah. So that's a pretty good look. I just feel that if we go to decision, it'll probably be Park. I just can't game it out in my head how Denis wins the decision. He'd have to really just be messing Park out with output, pushing him back. And I'm just not really seeing that. I think if he wins, it's going to be a knockout. So decision, no action for me. Park, I don't think he finishes Denis. Maybe if Denis gets tired, which we have seen, he'll get a late finish, but for one unit, I like it. Decision, no action. How about you, Johnny?
Okay. Did you pick Park for your pick? Did you hear me? Oh, I think he's going out. Do you hear me, Mike?
Yep.
Okay. I was going to say, did you pick Park for your pick?
No, my pick is Denis still.
Oh, okay.
I think he should.
I just thought you were talking about your bet. My bad.
Yeah, I'm going to win too.
Okay. I'm going to go with Park here. I'm actually really confident in him. I like his wrestling and grappling. I like his cardio as well, so he can do that for 3 rounds. On the feet, I think it will be close. And like you said, I think at range, Denis will be a little bit better than that. But if it's up close, like in boxing range, I'd give that to Park. But they're both pretty much on par with striking. But I just think the massive advantage is going to be with the wrestling and grappling. And I do think he'll be able to take him down. It might not be his first time or his second time, but he keeps going for those takedowns. And like I said, he's got the cardio to do it. And we've seen him take down some pretty big guys. Like he took down Anders, he took down Holmes, who's long, and I don't think did he take down Rodriguez? I can't remember if he did or not. He took down, I think he even took down Kennedy Njikwi once or twice. So yeah, I like Park here a lot. He's one of my confident picks. I did parlay him with another one coming up here in the card. And I did say he gets that submission later in the fight, just like he did kind of with Joseph Holmes. I think he'll just wear him down a bit in the first and second round with the grappling. And I just think Tiuiulin is going to, I don't want to say give up, but I think he'll give his neck up and then maybe get that rear naked choke eventually. But if not, I think it'll be an easy decision win, like maybe 29-28, but it'll be like a clear decision win.
So once you started saying that, I looked up Park wins by sub in round 2 and round 3. Plus 1,100 and plus 1,300. Honestly,
I like the third.
Feels like it should be a little wider, no?
You think it would? And I'm wondering if it's maybe because of recency bias. He just got a rear naked choke against Joseph Holmes, so maybe that's why.
Over, we saw Nakamura.
Yeah.
Denis. My thing is though, like Park submitted his only sub in the UFC is his last one against Holmes, who I think will be good, but for now is way too green, and I don't rate him that high right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of a little shocked that he looked, I don't want to say horrible, but he kind of looked bad on the ground, like really bad. And I didn't think he would look that bad.
Holmes?
Yeah.
He's just green, I think. He really just needs some more time.
True.
But, all right, so we'll move on real quick. Kiarix, I hate you. The second you said this, my Wi-Fi starts freaking out. And I'm connected straight up to the router. It's right next to me. So and now I'm blurry too. Look at this.
We better take that off the screen right now.
Look at this. Kiarix, you're messing everything up, man. JK, one of my favorite people. All right, hopefully this will clear up. If not, you guys are just going to have to deal with it. But for this fight, we've got Ji-yeon Kim versus Mandy Bohm. Kim is 9'6" 2". She's 33 years old, 5'7" with a 72-inch reach. And she's training at Bangtao, I know that. Mandy Bohm, 7'2" 33 years old. She's 5'7" with a 71-inch reach, giving up 1 inch in reach. They're the same age, same height, and she's at Extreme Couture. Thank God she's out of SBG Ireland. She did switch before her last fight against Victoria Leonardo, and that didn't really help her much there. But no. Why don't you start us off, Johnny? What do you think for this fight? Do you think Kim should be this much of a favorite? What are you thinking?
I'm having like PTSD because I picked Kim like the last at least 2 fights to win. Let me see the third fight. Yeah, just 2 fights. The last 2 fights to win. I think I even had bets on her. And I want to say at least one of the 2 times, I think the judges got that wrong. And I'm going to pick Kim here still. I still think she's the better striker. Bohm is a solid striker. She does have some grappling as well. We just haven't really seen it in the UFC. But as the fight goes on and later in the fight in the second and third round especially, she gets really sloppy. And I don't know if that's just a cardio issue. She just loses all of her technical striking and boxing. And we know Kim can go 3 hard rounds of striking, and she's very high volume as well. And Bohm's very hittable as the fight goes on, too. She keeps her arms down. And I just think Kim's going to at the very least, win the last 2 rounds and win 29-28. But I'm going to say 30-27 wins this one pretty easily. I don't see a finish in this fight. They're both really not finishers. Would I be like really shocked if Kim gets maybe just a stoppage because Bohm is gassing out a bit? Not really, but I think the safe bet is over 2.5 here if you want to play in the parlay. If you want Kim, I mean, minus 250, minus 260. It's not the greatest because, I mean, she is on a 4-fight losing streak. The judges seem to not like her if it's a very close fight. I still think she wins, though. Like I said, I'm not going to put my money on the money line. I like the over a little bit better either way because I just don't see a finish in this fight.
All right, real quick, Prince of Mischief, I think you're completely right, but how do I do that? Let me know in the chat. Johnny, do you have any idea?
Is it you're just using your laptop or
my desktop?
Mic? Oh, desktop. Okay. You have like a camera added to it?
Yeah, I use a webcam.
Okay, I'm wondering if it's like, do you have a program or like something for the webcam?
That's what I was thinking, but no.
No, okay.
Camera settings.
Uh,
Okay,
might
I'm
be
on it.
something on that then.
Let's see. Sorry, guys, about this. I can talk while doing this because this fight isn't much. I mean, I think Mandy Bohm is pretty terrible. I think Jeong Kim's just going to outstrike her. Like, there's really just like, I don't see what Bohm can do. I don't think she's as good as any of Jeong Kim's opponents that she's lost to. I think most of them would probably crush her as well. And sorry. So yeah, I think Jeon Kim is just going to run through her. I don't think she gets a finish. I was thinking about playing the decision prop, but I don't know. Listening to other people, it does kind of make sense. It's possible she gets a finish just via volume, right? Just because she has crazy volume. Eventually, it's going to catch up. Bohm has horrible striking defense, so it's entirely possible we see that happen. But
yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on. Oh, sorry, Johnny.
I was gonna say I haven't placed the over bet yet. I know it's like minus 350 range, but I'm still like kind of second guessing that as well. It's just a weird fight. I think I might just stay away. So yeah, it's just Kim should win, but I always have that PTSD. Like I said, I mean, I picked her twice, I bet her twice, and I'm on the wrong end twice. So I don't like it.
All right, so I'm still figuring out this camera stuff. I'm going to try to focus this after I intro these fighters. Johnny will start us off again. So for this next one, we've got, all right, we're up to the road to UFC finals. I love this stuff. All right, real quick. While I do this, let's try covering it up. You guys won't see me now. Okay. So
magic. Here comes a magic trick.
For this fight, we've got Young Sung Park. This is a shit show. Versus Sung Guk Choi. Park is 7-0, undefeated as a pro. He's 27 years old, 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. And as for his camp, he's at Bangtao. I'm almost positive. Sung Guk Choi, 6-1-0, 26 years old. He's 5'6", giving up 1 inch in height, 64-inch reach, giving up 2 inches in reach. And he's training under Korean Zombie. What do you think of this one, Johnny? Do you like the dog, or are you with the favorite here?
This was doing the tape study. This one was a little tough. I think this one will be a fairly close fight, but I'm gonna go with Park. I think his wrestling and grappling is gonna be the key here. Even though Choi's pretty solid everywhere, Choi may have an edge in the striking, but Park really likes to go for takedowns and get this fight to the mat. That's like his bread and butter. He wants to get this fight quickly down the mat, work his submissions and ground and pound and control and stuff like that. But Choi, he has pretty good takedown defense if I remember correctly. I just want to double check so I don't think that I'm lying here because I lost my notes somehow. And this is one of the fights that I'm like, can't really remember too much, but I'm gonna look real quick. Um, Choi, yeah, he's got very good takedown defense, like around 90%. So I think that's going to be the key in this fight is whether or not Choi can stop the majority of Park's takedowns. But I do think Park's going to be able to get him down eventually. It might take a round or so. It might be a little bit closer than you like what the line says, but I still think Park will win here by decision. This is probably for me the closest fight I think will be, and maybe the only fight of this road to UFC that actually goes to decision. I can see the other ones being finished in under like 2.5.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm doing my best back here, but meanwhile, I'll break down this fight. So, yeah, I like Choi. I ended up playing him. I think I got a better price than what it's at now. I got like plus 180-ish, somewhere around that point.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think it's like 160 now.
Yeah, I think maybe I got plus 174, I'm remembering. So I played that for 1 unit. And the way I see it is, I just think Park, like, yeah, he looks good, but against who? And I know both of them have faced not great competition, but I feel like on the road to UFC at least, Choi has fought the better guys. Maybe not Supin D, but Quy Lun for sure. And then you look at Park, he fought Sirigar, who's a little midget, really. He's like really, really small. And I don't remember who was second up. Oh, Kiram, who I actually really love, the Muay Thai guy who smoked cigarettes before and after his fights. He was getting pieced up against him, which isn't the worst thing. Like I said, Kiram has really good Muay Thai. But once he took Kiram down, the guy had nothing for him. He took his back. I don't even think he took him down. I'm pretty sure he just took his back standing. So that's how I feel about Park. I do think his wrestling's pretty good, but honestly, in my opinion, watching all of it, I think Choi might be the better wrestler. That's going to be something we're going to have to see and find out. You
Mhm.
look at the takedown defense for him, 90%, but that's mostly off Super ND, who I don't think is that good. And Park has 100%, but that's just from Sirigar failing. So, yeah, I think Choi can squeeze out a decision. I kind of wish he was a better finisher, especially with the way
Mhm.
judging is now. Who the hell knows what's going to
Yep.
happen? So I like to target finishers, but here I just think he can squeeze out this decision win. So I'm going to go with Choi, and I'm on the dog. You said you're on Park?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on Park. I do like the over in this fight. If you're going to pick an over for any of the road UFCs, I think this is the one to do. And I think this one will be the closest out of all of them.
And of course, we don't have, it's the over 2.5, minus 240. It's a little rough, but it does make
Yeah.
sense.
It is a flyweight fight too. You know, a lot of flyweights don't really, and they're not finishers. Like they're not finishers really on the feet. I mean, they have some subs, but not too many where they're like super dangerous. So it's not a bad parlay piece. I'm not gonna play it though, but if you want some action, I think the over is the way to go. Or take the dog.
Yeah, honestly, it does make sense to me. I'm curious what we get for the over 1.5 on like
Hmm.
DraftKings, the alternates. Maybe a
True.
parlay piece, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. I like the over 1.5 for sure. Or like fight to start round 3. That'd be a good one
That's a
too.
good spot too. But all right, so we're gonna move on to the next fight. Another finals for Road to UFC. Again, Johnny will start us off while I attempt to fix this damn camera. We've got Rinya Nakamura versus Toshiomi Kazama. Nakamura is 6-0. He's undefeated as a pro. Really high prospect he has a really big wrestling background. Would have gone to the Olympics but didn't because of COVID and then decided to do MMA instead. He's 27 years old, 5'7" with a 68-inch reach. And I'm honestly not sure for the camps for either of these guys. If you know Johnny, just shout it out. All I
Okay.
have is Tapology. We got LDH Martial Arts for
Yeah.
Nakamura. And then Kazama on the other side, he's 10-2-0, 25 years old. He's 2 years younger, 5'7" of the same height, and he's got 1 inch of reach advantage. And his camp apparently is Wajutsu Kishukai Hearts. So, Johnny, start us off, brother. Do you think Nakamura should be this wide?
I actually maybe not this wide, but I don't agree, or I do agree with him being a pretty decent sized favorite, maybe like in the 300 range. But I really like this Nakamura guy. He's got very good grappling, like or wrestling, like you said. He's actually got pretty good striking as well, good power with his hands. Toshiyami, he's a good grappler. He's got good submissions, good wrestling as well. On the feet, I think I don't want to say bad, but he's not the greatest. He tends to be more of a grappler, but I don't think he's going to want to try to grapple with Nakamura. And Nakamura, if even if Kazama tries to go for takedowns, I think Nakamura will be able to stuff him and try to keep this fight standing. I think that's going to be his biggest edge is on the feet. I do like his wrestling more so than Kazama's grappling. So I really like Nakamura to win this fight. I really even like the under 2.5 here too. I think Nakamura should be able to knock him out. I think on the feet. But even if he does get this fight to the mat, I like his chances as well. So I got Nakamura by like a second round knockout. I think he'll be able to get it on the feet. Not to say that Cosmo's bad, but I just think Nakamura is pretty good.
All right, so knock on wood.
He's back.
For now, I'm back. Oh, I did the old school unplug it, plug it back in. For now, it's working. So
There you go.
for this fight, honestly, I really wanted to play Kazama because it's not like I think he's that good on the feet. He's very basic on the feet. Both guys
Mhm.
are. They prefer to grapple. Nakamura, though, if you watch his tape, he's definitely been improving at a really rapid pace in the striking. He's only got 6 fights, and like if you look at it, it's just improving every fight. And then Kazama, I'd say he's also improving. Both guys are young. Just I don't think he's as good of a striker. And then he's obviously not going to be as good of a wrestler.
Mhm.
The thing I'm thinking is if like you look at Kazama's fight in the Road to UFC, the way he just wore on his opponent and just didn't let go, like he just hangs on, like he's super glued onto you and just doesn't let go, wears on you, tries to work in the clinch. He's definitely better in the clinch than at range, in my opinion. So I've been like kind of trying to convince myself to take Kazama by decision. It opened
Okay.
up today. It was like plus 800, something like that. Let me check. By decision, yeah, plus 800. I kind of would have liked more. I'm also looking at Kazama by sub plus 600. You know, I'm pretty much thinking because Nakamura hasn't been extended, and I think all of his fights have any gone the distance. Let me double check.
I think Nakamura maybe
right?
won.
One.
Yeah, and it was against a pretty decent guy too. Who was it?
It was the guy who was
the
Caetano,
Alejandro.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering how he's going to be once he's getting extended, if he gets extended, with Kazama just hanging on him. So that's why I'm thinking maybe like either a decision or a late sub, but I probably won't get there. The pick is definitely Nakamura. He seems like the prospect, so that's going to decide. And we both agree, right, Johnny?
Yep. Yeah, I think he's going to get the knockout on the feet. I think he's going to he might go for wrestling early, and then I think he'll realize he's going to have the really big advantage on the feet and just keep the fight standing and then get the knockout.
Kind of a trash line, plus 110 by KO for Nakamura.
Yeah, honestly, I like the under 2.5 here. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised it's at 2.5 for this fight. Dude, I know it's like minus 180, but
it's minus 205 right now.
Oh, I got it at minus 180.
When Wiz hit me up last week, we were talking before the show. It was minus 150.
Oh, wow.
And I almost pulled the trigger. My thing is just like, I don't know if I try. Like, I don't know if he's gonna be able to get that finish either of them. But I don't know, man. This fight confuses me. Oh, go ahead.
I know. I was gonna say one of these, like, I have little conspiracy theories. All these Road to UFC fights, these guys are fighting for contracts. They're gonna want to try to get those finishes to me. So they're going to put everything they got in this, whether it's going to be sub, whether it's knockout, they're going to go all out. It's kind of like Dana White Contender Series for me. I think they're going to go for it. And I really think there's going to be a finish one way or another. And if you don't want to pay the line on Nakamura, I think the under is a little bit safer. Even it just covers both bases.
Yeah, can't disagree there. And, you know, this was supposed to be in like South Korea, I think. So like that's why the time's different. So I do think that's a good point with the violence. Like people, not only are they fighting for a contract, but people at home are actually watching for once.
True.
And I think they're going to be fighting harder. I don't know. Something kept me from it, and now it's minus 205. So I'm definitely not playing it.
Yeah, you might want to if you want to. It's now or never. So I don't blame you one way or another. I mean, I wouldn't have touched it if it was 200 or more.
We'll see if I end up going with Kazama as a little prop play, but most likely not.
The sub prop is a pretty decent one, actually.
Plus 600, right? But I'm thinking it might get even better because he's being counted out completely in this fight. So I feel like FanDuel, Bet Rivers might give something crazy. Then I'm in.
Yeah. FanDuel, with their props, they always like to give some crazy ones every once in a while.
Because they're smart. Because they know they always lose most of the time. Like,
true.
So why not offer
either they're smart
fight?
Or they're just a little behind.
I think it's a good strategy. Idiots like me come running when I see a better line on there. But all right, for this next fight, we've got the featherweight tournament finals. We've got Zha Yi versus Jeong Yeong Lee. So I'm gonna go with Zha and Lee. So for Zha, he's 21-3-0, 26 years old, 5'7" with a 71-inch reach. And for his camp, I'm going with Enbo. Couldn't find anything on Instagram. Lee, he's 9-1-0, 27 years old. He's 5'10", so he's 3 inches taller. He's got a 73-inch reach, so it's a 2-inch reach advantage. Hey, what's up, Tajik? Thank you for coming on, brother. And as for his camp, I believe it's Sen Gym. That's what Tapology has. And I'll start this one off. I'm on Zha Yi. I played him at plus 211 for a unit. I like it quite a bit. This is what I'm thinking. Like, first off, I'll say this. On the feet, I think it's Lee all day. So, like, if he's stuck on the feet, I think he's probably going to get finished. The thing is, I do think he's serviceable on the feet, and I think his grappling is really good. His wrestling is really solid. He's got a good back take as well. I guess there's still problems, right? Lee has a really nasty armbar. All 3 wins by sub. All 3 are arm bars. I mean, all 3 sub wins are by armbar. Mm-hmm. And I just feel that, like, if you look at it, right, I've got in my notes with the fights. He hasn't gone past 40 seconds in the last 3 fights he's had. The last decision was 2018. So, like, what the hell is he going to look like if the fight extends? Like, what's going to happen if Zha Yi's just pulling him down and he's got to get back up? Tries the armbar, it doesn't work. Then what? That's my question. I definitely recognize the striking difference here. I do think that Lee is very live for a knockout, but because he's not active, since he's become active, he's barely fought at all. Fights like he's double, triple parked, running right back out of the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think if he gets extended, we might see him really slow down. And I do think he is a good fighter as well. The Matsushima win in his last fight, in my opinion, is very impressive. Matsushima's really good. And yeah, what do you think, Johnny?
I am honestly everything you said. I am on board with. I picked Ja, we'll say Ja or Za to win as well. This is my underdog. I think there's going to be one underdog out of the four UFC road to UFC fights. I think this is going to be the one for some reason. Like you said, Lee is going to be the way better striker. Not to say that Za is a bad striker, but he's definitely going to have the advantage on the mat as well. And I do like his cardio, and he's got a lot of fights under his belt. I know some of them aren't against the greatest fighters, but I mean, he's got 24 fights compared to what, 12? And like you said, the last three fights of Lee, he finished all those fights in like under 45 seconds. So we don't know what happens when, lately, anyways, if he even gets to the second round. So if this fight extends to the second round, I really like, I want to say Yi. So Za's chances here. So give me, I think the fight over under is at 1.5. I really like the under here, one way or another. I think it's going to be Lee very early knockout, or maybe Zog gets him taken down, grind or wears him down a little bit, and then gets a sub. So either way, I'm going to go with the dog here. I think he can extend this fight maybe past like a half a round, and I think Lee's going to be a little. I don't know. Maybe he's going to be a little gassed out a little bit and he just doesn't know what to do when he's on the ground. So this is going to be a fun fight, though. I think this one will end under 1.5, though.
Yeah, I wish we had a line or anything. They haven't given us any props in this fight. I think the bookies are a little confused, probably.
I think DraftKings has this one as 1.5, and I think
No way.
basically a pick 'em.
I have to get more used to checking DraftKings because Best Fight Odds doesn't update it always for them.
Oh, okay. I usually check DraftKings first. That's what I usually use, and then I'll go and see what on Best Fight Odds.
So
Let me
what's
look
that?
real quick.
What's that on? What's that 1.5, Johnny? I'm trying to find it too now.
Let me see. I think it's at like close to a pick 'em the last time I looked.
Let's check it out.
So okay,
yeah, it is.
the under is -110. The over is -120. I like the under a lot, and I actually might throw some money down on the under because both these guys are finishers. I want to say out of all the fights together from both of them, which is around a little over 30, I think like only 10 have gone to decision or past 1.5. So these guys finish in the first round or round and a half. So
Yeah, honestly, I'm looking at it and I'm like kind of tempted to go over the one and a
okay.
half because I'm just thinking like with a grappling heavy approach, we don't really see fast finishes all the time. Ja, he does have 5 sub wins, but I'm not positive he's going to get it so fast on someone like Lee, who I do think is a good fighter. But I don't think I'm going to touch it.
Yeah, maybe you can get the alternate lines when they come out -2.5. That's probably a good parlay piece.
Or fight doesn't go. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
But all right, we'll move on to the last finals fight. I've got a strong opinion here. I know a lot of people are all over the place on this fight. Real quick.
Yeah, this one's 50-50 from everyone I've seen.
What is this? Ryan Reynolds. I didn't even know there was such thing as mint mobile. I don't know if you're messing around, but that's pretty funny.
Well, that's funny if that's true, though. I knew he had like a mint mobile thing, but
I had no idea. Fun fact, I once got a haircut from a guy who apparently cut Khabib's hair. He showed me a picture of him cutting it. Spoiler.
That's pretty cool.
I thought that meant he's a good barber. And then I remembered Khabib just has a buzz cut. So he was a trash barber. But at least for my hair, I got this luscious locks. Like I don't have what Khabib has, so I think he just didn't know how to do it. But we'll move on. We've got Anshul Jubli versus Jeka Saragih. Jubli's 6-0, undefeated as a pro. He's 28 years old, 6 feet tall with a 69-inch reach. And I know that he does train out of Tiger Muay Thai. I think he spent some time at Bali for this camp. Saragih, he's 13-2-0, 28 years old as well. 5'8". He's given up, 4 inches in height, 69-inch reach. They got the same reach. And for his camp, I've got Satriya Nagara Fighting Camp. So, Johnny, start us off, brother.
All right. So I was kind of going back and forth with this one, and I do think this is going to be a really, really good fight. But I decided to go with Saragih to win this one. They're both kind of like like they're both good strikers. They're both pretty good on the ground. I might give the Jubli slight edge on the ground, but I think I'm going to give Sargi the slight edge on the feet. I think he definitely is going to have the more finishing ability and he's the more dangerous fighter, I believe too. But this is close because I mean, if Jubilee can get this fight to the mat, and work, can stay on top and get and rack up the control time, I think he can win this fight. But I see it going a little differently. I'm gonna go with Saragi to win this one. I think he's gonna be able to get that knockout eventually, maybe in this early second round. But yeah, this is gonna be a really close fight. And I don't blame anybody for going with Jubilee here. I think this is gonna be a very, very, very close fight and good fun fight to watch. I'm probably not gonna bet anything here. This is why it's a pick 'em. Both these guys, I think it's minus 110 each way. So we don't know how it works, but give me the more dangerous fighter. I think he's got a little bit more fight experience as well. And it's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, I'm on the other side here. I took Jubli, and there's a few reasons for that. Like,
Okay.
I almost took him in his last fight as a dog. He was fighting someone who's actually pretty good. He has fights in ONE FC, Kyung Po Kim. And I ended up staying off because I had a feeling that, I don't know, I just felt like he was really good. I was just worried that because of his competition, because it was all trash, until the road to UFC, I was nervous to play any money on him, so I didn't. He pulled it out with a split decision. People go both ways, who they think won. I think he won. But first off, I think he had the harder fight. Kyung Po Kim, I know he only had one, but looking at the fights that Saragih had, like, I just don't think much of that. And then another issue I have with Saragih, first off with the striking defense. I agree he's more dangerous, but his striking defense is bad. He lets himself get hit to get those punches in or those kicks. And in terms of his striking, like, his output could be better. A lot of the time he's just looking for that heavy counter. Like his last KO, like the way he wound up that punch, let it go and just flat lined the guy. I'll give him credit where credit's due. 8 knockout wins. Both have trash competition, but one of them is finishing the trash competition in Saragih, and the other one isn't in Jubli. He's got only like one finish, I think. So got to give that to Saragih. Got to give him his kicks. Holy crap. The way he throws kicks, I mean, that stuff is crazy. But my issue with him is more so his grappling. I'm seeing people say he's a good better wrestler than Jubli, and I can't fathom that. Like, because he took down his Contender Series fight, it was like someone terrible. It was Man, I think, but I don't remember perfectly. But in terms of takedown defense, you run back the Anga Han's fight. This is before the road to UFC. They had like a 5-round fight. I forget the promotion, and he just got wrestle fucked. He got wrestle fucked for 4 rounds and then eventually got submitted by Anga Hans. Anga Hans also participated in this tournament and got knocked out in the first round, rightfully so. He's not great. And to see Jeka get out grappled by him is not a good look because Anga is also small. Jubli's big. He's a big man. He's 6 feet tall for this division. He's going to be really big. I don't think Jeka can get him down. I think if anyone's going to get takedowns and grapple, I think it's going to be Jubli. But the other thing is that I don't really agree with a lot of people is they think he has to grapple or he's going to lose this fight, get knocked out. I agree it's smarter because you never know with Jeka.
Yeah.
Kick to the head, kick to the body, you get knocked out. But I think he's really good too. Like technique-wise, I personally feel like he's better. He's got the straight strikes. He's putting together good combos. I just feel like Jeka, he's looking for like his last fight, I think it was, he was going in these weird flurries, then backing up. I just didn't love what I was seeing with him. I originally played Jubli plus 110 for 3 units. That's what I did. The line ended up getting taken down, then put back up, and now he's like a slight favorite. I did end up hedging today a little bit because I am getting nervous about the KO. Jubli is a bit hittable for sure, and I can see those openings in the body where Jeka can just rock him. So what I did was something not the smartest thing. I hedged out with a prop rather than a money line, but it's just because I don't personally see Saragih winning a decision. I think if he wins, I think most of the time it's going to be a knockout. So I played his knockout prop plus 285 for a half unit. It'll get me back a good amount of what I'm betting on Jubli. But this way, I still have 2.5 units staked on the guy who I do think should win this fight. I think he's got the distance striking for sure, and I think that he's got the wrestling. So because of that, I have to favor Jubli. And
yeah, I don't blame you one bit for that. I mean, I like you said, I think Saragih, if he does win more times than not, it will be by knockout.
Have you bet him?
No, I'm gonna stay away from this fight.
Do you want a shoey bet?
Nope. No, this one's close. This is one of my close ones. I'm like, nope. I'm not really that confident in picking Saragih, to be honest.
I got you. I feel like this line is extremely accurate. It might end up that one of them looks like a heavy favorite, but with what we know, I think this line is
yeah, and that's the thing too with these guys. Like we've only seen them a couple times in the road to UFC, more times than not. These guys, this is a big thing for them. They're trying to get a contract. They're trying to get in the UFC. This is Dana White Contender Series, as Prince said. Dana White Contender Series 2.0 right here. So just remember, like betting these fights, like these guys are going for contracts. It's hard to pick money lines. More times than not, it's probably best to pick the underdog because he knows he's going to be the underdog and he's going to have to bring it. Both these guys are going to bring it. So unders and underdogs are probably the way to go for these 4 fights.
Yes, sir. And the only other thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to when I was talking about it. So I did mention that I thought that Jubli had the harder fight on the road to UFC. And like, first off, what a step up. Like he was literally fighting terrible fighters on the Indian regional scene. And all of a sudden he's fighting a guy who's lost to 3 people. Ready for this? Timur Nagibin. I don't know how much you guys know about him. He's a good Russian guy. Armin Sarukian. And a guy named Daesung Park, who I looked into and is actually pretty decent as well. Those are his only 3 losses until he lost to Jubli. So it was a big step up, and he handled it accordingly and made it through. So I did want to mention that.
Nice.
But we can move on to this. This is a shit show, isn't it? We got Yusaku Kinoshita versus Adam Fugitt. Kinoshita is 6-1-0. He's 22 years old, super young. 6 feet tall with let's call it a 72-inch reach, and he is training out of Sanford MMA, that I know. Fugitt, he's 8-3-0, 34 years old, so he's 12 years older here. 6'1", he's got a 1-inch height advantage. 77-inch reach, he's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage, and he's training out of Art of War MMA and Fitness. Johnny, do you like the dog? Do you like the favorite? What are you thinking?
I'm going to go with Kinoshita here. I like his striking a lot. I know he's very young. He does leave himself open for some counters and stuff. And Fugitt's got some decent power in his hands. He's pretty well-rounded, Fugitt. He's got some good grappling. He doesn't really have the greatest takedown ability, though. And I do think Kinoshita will be able to stuff the majority of those takedowns. The only thing that might worry me a bit is Kinoshita trying to get into range because he's going to have like about a 6-inch reach disadvantage. Other than that, though, he's got good counters. He's very quick hands, good kicks as well. He's mainly like his hands are his weapons, though. He's got power in his hands. So, and I'll give Fugitt a little bit of credit with his last fight. It was short notice against Michael Morales, who he did look fairly decent in the first round against, but then he ended up getting finished. But I think there's going to be another finish here. Maybe in the late second round, I think there's going to be a knockout here. I don't think Fugitt's going to be able to get the grappling going early, and he'll shoot for some takedowns if he gets in trouble. But I think Kinoshita's going to be too quick, stuff those takedowns and keep the fight standing. That's just going to make Fugitt get hit more. So give me Kinoshita here. I'm probably going to, if I do play this, I'm going to do the under 2.5. I'm going to stay away from the money line as well. I like a lot of unders this card. I think you get better lines too. A lot of these lines are super inflated. So I think Kinoshita wins this one, though.
DraftKings doesn't have the 2.5, right? It has the 1.5 right now.
Thought it was 2.
Let's check. On BetOnline, it's over 1.5. If it's 2.5 on DraftKings, I'm actually going to play it probably next time you're talking. But let's see, because I'm very curious about this one.
2.5. It's -140.
Oh, hell yes. Okay, yeah, I'm on that too. I really like that.
Want to do a bet? Want to do a bet right now? I didn't do it yet. I was going to, though. Want to do it together?
I'm down. All right, let's play it.
All right. Got it.
You guys are getting a live view of me and Johnny betting the under 2.5 here.
That's why we do it.
I'll talk while we do it too. I'm
okay.
I did end up playing Fugitt at +200 for a half unit. And I thought I was getting a good price. Now I look like a moron. He's at plus 270. But listen, man, I feel like there's a few things that I don't like with Kinoshita. I do think he's a really good striker. Is your bet in yet, Johnny?
It's in now.
Mine's in too. 1.4 units for me to win one.
Yep.
Live view, guys. But all right. So
Love it.
in terms of this fight, I did bet Fugitt just a half unit. And here's why. I like Kinoshita in general, but he's young and kind of stupid because of that.
Mm-hmm.
You watch him fight, and he has no problem getting hit in the face just to close that distance. Once he closes it, he'll kill you. Like, if you don't move off the fence, he'll literally kill you and knock you out, or end up grabbing the fence, stomping you to death, and then getting disqualified. Not for the stomping to death, but to
he knocked that guy out really bad too, and he used the fence to knock him out even more.
Just madness with this guy, but you gotta love it. He's a finisher, that's for sure.
Yep, that's what you want.
With Fugitt, like, oh yeah, the other thing about Kinoshita, his takedown defense, right? We haven't seen it tested much. I found one regional video. He got taken down fairly easy, honestly, against a guy who wasn't good, but he got back up quick. So you have to give that to him. My thing is, I just think that Fugitt at range might actually be better. He might be the better striker at range. I really like his jab, like, a lot. And with that 7 or whatever it is, reach advantage, like, I think he's going to be landing it quite a bit. The rest of his striking, you know, the kicks are really good. You look at the Solomon Renfro knockout, right? Looked like UFC 4, someone just spanning the head kick button over and over again until it hit and worked.
Yep.
I guess because, like, I think those kinds of kicks still hurt even if you block them, right? So if you end up taking it, eventually it'll add up. I just think at range he's dangerous here. Once Kinoshita closes the distance, though, Fugitt has to run because it's entirely possible he's just going to get clipped in one of the first exchanges against the cage, which is why I also like the under, kind of like a hedge, right? But I do think he can get takedowns. You look at the Morales fight, and I had a ton of money on Morales, if I remember correctly, so I was sweating balls.
Me too.
Because in the first round, Fugitt looked like he was way better. I think Morales was just starting slow. I think that's what it was. But, I mean, Morales is no joke. The guy's a legitimate guy. In my opinion, he's a really, really good prospect and would probably murk Kinoshita, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
So to win a round and then look decent in round 2 till you get exhausted on short notice, to me, is a pretty good look. To take down Morales, that's a pretty good look. I think that might have been Morales just not expecting it more so than Fugitt being a good wrestler. But if he can do that, the way he timed it, he does seem like he can wrestle. I think he can take down lower level grappling guys than Morales. So, yeah, I think that at range and with the grappling, he could win this. I think that's why I was a little hesitant on the under 2.5, because I feel like if Fugitt wins, he most likely wins by decision, is the way I'm looking at it. But Fugitt, I played the under 2.5 with you live. Sorry for you guys. Had to try it out.
Yeah, like I said, I was looking at that all day or last couple of days, and the line didn't really move. And I'm like, well, I'm going to do it because I wanted to see where it was going to go. I think it stayed about the same. And then you just made me go over the edge a little bit. So I'm like, all right, man, let's go.
I have to start checking DraftKings more often because I really rely on best fight odds. And I miss out on stuff like this because of it. I'm sitting here waiting to see the under 2.5, and it's already there.
You know, DraftKings might not be the first book to get the lines out. Like if you have like a million sports accounts or sports books everywhere, the ones in the US, the main ones, I think DraftKings is probably the best for UFC. Like they get their lines out quick, and then usually people or the rest of them follow after that. So it's something to think about if you want to try to jump on a US sports book line real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I also just looked it up while you were talking because on best fight odds, there's nothing for this fight we're coming up on right now. And there is a total on DraftKings. So I'm excited to talk about it because I kind of like it. So for this one, we've got Do-Ho Choi, the Korean Superboy, finally making it back. 14-4-0. He's 31 years old, 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. And I've got him training at Team Mad. I believe that's correct based off his Instagram. Kyle Nelson, the monster. He's 13-5-0, 31 years old as well. They're the same age. He's 5'11" with a 1-inch height advantage, 71-inch reach. He's got a 1-inch reach advantage, and he's training out of Muskoka Kickboxing. So I'll start this one off. I'll start it with there's no way I'm betting Choi. Zero chance I'm betting Choi. Maybe if we get a juicy knockout prop, I'll take a swing, but otherwise I'm not touching him. I do think he's a better fighter, or was the better fighter. We have no idea what he's going to look like. I don't know what it means to be enlisted in an army. I don't know how that can impact someone's performance in sports, and we're going to have to see. And even then, he hasn't won since 2016. He got knocked out by Charles Jourdain, who is good. I have to give it to him. He's good. Not the worst knockout loss. Jeremy Stevens knocked him out. Jeremy Stevens knocked out a lot of guys before he kind of aged a bit. And then he lost to Cub Swanson. Was it Cub?
Yeah.
He lost to Cub Swanson by decision, a fight that's now in the Hall of Fame, which honestly probably isn't the best look nowadays. But I guess that's before.
Yeah, all those kind of aged poorly, I guess. Right? But at the time, those are pretty wins, right? Good losses.
Yeah. And you look on Nelson, and I feel like he's just been underwhelming. Like, I don't know.
Being nice.
Yeah, I feel like he's just like, I feel like he does have some good skills, right? But it's just been underwhelming. And while I'm talking, I'm like pulling up his record because I want to go over it with you guys. Like, all right, he starts in the UFC, loses to Diego Ferreira 2018. That's okay, right? Diego Ferreira is
really, at that time
really good. Then he loses to Matt Sales by submission. That is a horrible, horrible, horrible look. Sales is a striker.
Horrible for the rest of his life.
And not even a great striker. To get submitted by him is a horrible look. Then he knocks out Polo Reyes, who is not with the UFC anymore, as far as I know. And then lost to Billy Q, which wasn't the worst loss. I think he may have won the first round. He looked pretty good. But Billy did Billy, put on the pressure, outworked him, and then finished him late. And then the Jai Herbert fight was just kind of gross and boring. I thought it would be fun. I was like talking to Wiz last week, and he's on Nelson, and he's thinking the wrestling, right? And it might not be a bad point. We look at Choi. He's got a 50% takedown defense. 8 times he's been shot on. 4 times he's defending it. 4 times he got taken down. We don't really know what it's going to look like. That's the thing. And I can't bet on all unknowns. The only thing I'm looking at, I pulled it up earlier on DraftKings, the over-under, right, totals. They've got 2.5, which kind of surprises me too.
Yep.
And the under 2.5 is minus 180.
Yep.
I don't hate it. I
already got it.
You played minus 180?
Yep.
I think I'm going to do the same exact thing. I like that a lot.
I did that -2 or the under 2.5. This one with the Nakamura Kazama. I parlayed it together. Just one unit on both. I'm pretty confident in both those unders to parlay them together. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I like both quite a bit, and I'm going to join you with this one too, Johnny.
There you go.
Break down this fight?
Yeah, you pretty much said that. What I was thinking too as well. There's no way I'm betting Choi, even though I do think he is the better fighter. He hasn't fought in 3 years. We don't know if he's just going to come out looking like the next Superboy, if you want to say, or if he's going to come out looking like I don't know, someone that's hasn't been fighting for 3 years. And I think this fight doesn't get out of the first round. I'm going to be honest, or at least 1.5. Like, someone's getting finished here. And going off of Choi, how he likes to, push forward. He has got very good striking, good power. He likes to make this a brawl. Nelson, he's very hittable. Like, I think he's gonna have to use his wrestling, like Wiz thinks he's gonna do, to win this fight. If he doesn't, he's gonna get knocked out. So either way, I see a finish one way or another. I would never put my money on someone who hasn't fought in 3 years, like I said, and I would never put my money on Nelson as a dog either, who hasn't won. He's only won 1 UFC fight in 6 fights, 7 fights, or 4 or 5. Okay, so he's 1-4 in the UFC, and not even a great win. So underwhelming guy. I don't think he's really good at anything. He's probably below average at everything, I'll be honest. So I think Choi is the better fighter, but I just don't know. So give me Choi to win. I'm going to say by knockout in the first round. But if he doesn't get that knockout in the first round, maybe Nelson does win in the second round. Who knows? But I love the under 2.5, though. I think this fight will not go into the third round at all.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just played it while you were talking. Officially made 2 bets with Johnny over here.
There you go. Start doing those over-unders. That's the way to go in these kind of tricky cards. I'm telling you, don't go too crazy on these money lines, man. They're crazy.
Oh, yeah. But talking about money lines and going crazy, there's one.
I might I know I got one coming up.
I think we both like the same side here. We've got Marcin Tybura versus Blagoy Ivanov. Tybura is 23-7-0, 37 years old. You'll hear this all week from everyone, but I can't believe he's older. 6'3"
Right.
with a 78-inch reach, and I've got him training out of Ankos MMA. Ivanov, he's 19-4-0, 36 years old, 5'11", so he's given up, what is that? 5 inches in height. Did I do the math correctly? I think so. 73-inch reach. He's given up 5 inches in reach, training out of AKA. And Johnny, why don't you start us off, brother?
Yeah, I like Tybura here, and I already know this is going to be a close fight. This fight's going to go over 2.5. It's going to go to the judges' scorecards. So let's get that out of the way. These guys aren't finishers. They're both very tough for heavyweights. And I just like Tybura's overall game a little bit better. I think he's going to have the better wrestling, which he might try to shoot for some takedowns here and there, but I think this fight will be mainly on the feet. And I think he's got the better striking. He's going to have the 5-inch reach advantage. He's going to be a little bit taller as well. But Blagoy, like I said, he's just a little brick house. He's a little built guy. He's going to stay in there. Both these guys are older gentlemen, so they're not in their primes. You know, they're not going to have that crazy KO power maybe they once had in their prime. But yeah, I see both these guys go to decision all the time, and they both make it close fights. But I got to go with Tybura here. The price is going down. I'm waiting till it hits rock bottom before I get that Tybura betting, because I don't blame anybody picking the dog here, because this is going to be a close fight. But I just think Tybura is the better fighter of the two. So give me Tybura. I love the money line here. I'm going to wait a little bit unless Mike makes me bet this one right now again.
No, you shouldn't bet it right now, but I was going to say, it actually, since we started the stream, it has come up. He's minus 135 now on Bet Online.
On Bet Online. What about DraftKings?
Minus 145 and climbing as well. You don't have Bet Online?
Okay. No, I just do DraftKings, and I got Caesars too, but I usually just use DraftKings.
Gotcha. But yeah, for this fight, I also like Tybura, and I'm going to be honest, I was ready to play him at minus 200.
I was thinking about it too.
When I saw it open up early, I was like, this is a good spot for Tybura. And then money's just been coming in on Ivanov. And like, all right, first off, let's get this out of the way. Yes, he survived the crazy stabbing. What the fuck does that have to do with MMA? Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Yes, he survived. His body survived, but I have no idea what that has to do with MMA at all. Yes, he's had a brick chin, but I don't think Tybura needs to knock him out, first of all. And second of all, if he does, it doesn't have to be on the feet. I talk about this all the time, ground and pound. It feels like we forget about it. It exists. Mm-hmm. And with a guy heavy like Tybura, the way he has top control, his ground and pound is really good. Look at fights like, who was it, Greg Hardy, where in the first round, Hardy was like fucking him up. And then Tybura took him down, and there was just no getting up after that. So I like Tybura a lot. I think that he's going to have a wrestling edge. Yeah, you can look at Ivanov. You can say he was a master in sport and sambo, I'm pretty sure. But he's got taken down by Derrick Lewis. He's been taken down in his last fight. We literally just watched it against frickin', what's his name, De Lima, of all people. Mm-hmm. Yep. These are not good looks. Tybura is a much better grappler than both of those guys. And I really don't think that Ivanov is going to get him down. And in terms of the striking, look, we're talking about a really big size advantage. 4 inches taller, 5-inch reach advantage. Like, he's going to be a lot bigger than Ivanov, and he's a decent striker. He was able to hang with Volkov. Granted, I don't think Volkov looked himself in that fight. I had him there heavy, and I was sweating it because it looked very competitive on the feet, and I thought it shouldn't have been competitive on the feet. And overall, I just feel like he's been looking better and better on the feet. He's got a great jab, great combinations. I like that he mixes targets to the body. I think that's super important, and we've been seeing it more and more and more. He's good in the pocket, where I think a lot of the exchanges are going to happen, because I don't see Ivanov landing at distance. Like, what does he do that suggests at range he's going to be able to cover this 4-inch reach advantage? I don't think anything. So
he's going to have to come in like this and hoping to get close.
Literally. So if I think Tybura is the better striker, if I think Tybura is the better wrestler, if I think Tybura's got a huge size advantage, you got to like Tybura. And I can't believe these odds, man. I really can't.
I know. That's why I'm waiting. once I see it like immediately go up a little bit, I'm probably just gonna hit it real quick.
Yeah, if we get imagine we get Pick'em, I'm gonna go crazy.
Dude,
What are you thinking
that's
unit
insane.
sizing for this one? Say it ends up at minus 130, stops climbing. What would you size your units for the bet?
I would definitely do 1.3 to win one for sure, and I would maybe even want to do like 1.5 units to win maybe like 1.5. Basically, I think that's a good bet. Like I would like you said, you were willing to do it at minus 190 to minus 200.
Yep.
So if we're gonna get more than half the price taken off, might as well bet that extra half that we're saving and go for it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm
And if
thinking
it's a
two
pick 'em,
units.
if it's closer to a pick 'em, like if it gets down to minus 125, I'm just gonna put 2 units on it. Screw it.
I think that's what I'm doing too. This line
Yeah,
makes no
that's
sense.
insane.
Like, I just don't see it. Is Ivanov going to get a knockout? No, I
No,
really
to
don't.
me, his only chance, honestly, is to survive longer than Tybura because he's tough, you know.
Got
But
stabbed 400 times.
but to me, he wasn't even doing too much in the Delima fight at the end. Like both those guys were gassed, and it was close. And I actually thought Delima won. I thought he landed the harder shots at least. They both weren't throwing anything. Don't get me like they were throwing like 10 strikes each, but he was Delima was landing the harder ones. So the judges again, like you just don't know what they're gonna do. So that's the only thing that kind of worries me. But I do think Tybura he has a way better gas tank than Delima. He's gonna be throwing more strikes. Blagoy is more hittable as well. He absorbs like over 4 strikes per minute, and then Tybura is a little over 3. So to me, I mean, they both throw about the same volume. Tybura's a little bit ahead, but yeah, give me everything points to Tybura, which is maybe another thing that'd be like, why is this so like this line so good? It
Yeah,
makes me question it. You know what I mean?
it seems like we're almost missing something, right? Because like
Yeah.
I'm looking at I pulled up Ivanov's record in the UFC because I thought I remembered he doesn't have any finishes in the UFC, and that's a
Mm-mm.
fact. He does not. So how the hell is he going to win this?
Right?
I just don't get it. He's going to need Tybura to just look not himself, and of course that happens in MMA, but I'm just really not seeing it. Like you lose by split to Derrick Lewis. Like I watched the fight back. I don't remember really who I thought won, if it was a robbery or not. I don't know if you remember, Johnny,
No, I
but
didn't watch. I remember the fight, but I didn't watch it just recently in
for it to
this
even
tape
be
study.
close enough to go to a split with Derrick Lewis, Derrick doesn't fucking throw anything. How is he winning
Yeah, he
minutes
doesn't.
against you? Because he landed a takedown somehow. That probably helped. Like,
Yep.
and then Augusto Sakai split. I actually remember watching that fight because this was right when I started betting shortly after, and me and my brother were doing it together mid-COVID, and
Mm-hmm.
he was screaming Sakai, and I was literally just like going on.
Saki.
I was going on Reddit, just picking random stuff, and I saw someone say Ivanov, so I was like, you know what? Let's bet Ivanov instead. And he was like, okay. And then we pulled it out. I don't remember whether it was a robbery or not. I just started watching, but like I literally used to do that all the time, Johnny. When I first started, like my first event, I don't remember exactly what it was, but Angela Hill fought Claudia Gadelha.
Okay.
And my brother was putting together like a long shot parlay for $1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had Gadelha and he had what's his name? Nate Landwehr, whoever he fought. I don't remember. Darren Elkins. How could I forget?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
My brother wanted to bet those two. And I was just going on Reddit, scrolling. I was like, what are people saying? I had no idea who anybody was, if they were good or not. And then I saw one person say Angela Hill and one person say Nate Landwehr. So I was to my brother, I was like, yo, we're playing Hill and Landwehr. And he looks at Hill at plus 350. He's like, are you sure? I was like, yes, Hill. Landwehr hit, kind of a robbery, but a hit. And then Angela Hill got robbed, in my honest opinion. She clearly won that fight. So that's when I got hooked. But anyways, back to the fights. Yeah, I think Tybura wins. We're both on the same side. Similar confidence. And we'll move on to another favorite that I actually like quite a bit. We've got Da Un Jung versus Devin Clark. Jung is 15-3-1. He's 29 years old. 6'4" with a 79-inch reach, and I do believe he's at Korean top team still. Devin Clark, he's 13-7-0, 32 years old. He's 3 years older. 6 feet tall. He's given up 4 inches of reach. 75-inch reach. He's given up, height. And then this is reach, 4 inches as well. And he's training out of high altitude MMA. I know he spent some time at elevation. I'm still trying to figure out, a lot of fighters moved from elevation to high altitude. I don't exactly know why. I was trying to figure it out. But Johnny, why don't you start us off here, brother?
Yeah, this is one of my other pretty confident picks of the night. I'm going to go with Daeun Jung to win this one. He's just going to have the massive striking advantage. Clark's striking is not good at all. I think he's the better wrestler, if you want to say, but man, I don't want to say his wrestling is overrated. I just don't think it's as good as a lot of people think it is. He does have decent takedowns, if you want to say, but like he doesn't really do too much with it. And he just kind of just stays like a wet blanket most times. I know he got the ground and pound knockout against William Knight, but that's William Knight. Like, that's it. So I just don't see how Devin Clark wins this fight again. This is one of those ones I'm just kind of confused on. I'm really at minus, I think I got him at minus 215. At that price tag, like I think that's a steal. This guy, I know Daeun Jung, I know he lost to Jacoby, but before he got knocked out with that one punch, he was dominating that fight. He was controlling Jacoby. He was walking him down. He looked like he was a little too confident. It was like almost too easy to him. And then he just got punched right in the face and fell down. And then I don't know if it was an early stoppage. It might have been a little too quick. He did kind of get up real quick, but I think it was the right call though. But yeah, give me Daeun Jung here. Better striking. He'll stuff the takedowns if Clark goes for it. And I see him getting a knockout either late first or second round. And I think the under is a good play here as well, which I believe is about minus 140, minus 150 range as well. But I already played him in a parlay with Jeong Yeong Park. So that's my big parlay of the week. Those are my two most confident picks. They both have clear advantages to me. They both should win. If they use that clear advantage, they both should win fairly easily in my eyes.
Yeah, I love Jung here. I got him. Mm-hmm. I played him first at minus 200 for 2 units, and then again at minus 205 on DraftKings for 2.1. Nice. So total stake is 4.1 units. And like you said it all. First off, I did want to mention, you brought up the William Knight KO loss to Devin Clark. I hit round 3 Devin Clark TKO plus 2,300. Wow. So I'm pretty sure that's my widest prop hit ever. And because of that, Devin Clark has a special place in my heart. But he kind of lost that in the last fight because I trusted him. And that was my mistake against Mirzakhanov. I don't even think he shot, if I remember correctly.
I don't think so either.
I'm thinking maybe he thought he can't take down the Russian, but then what? You thought you're going to outstrike this guy? No, you're what?
That's his specialty.
Yeah, like that just did not work out for him at all. And like I was watching his striking, I was looking through as many fights as I could, even the Menefield fight after he survived, tired Menefield out and won. His striking's just not that good. He's very meat and potatoes, and I feel like Daeun Jung is first of all a better striker, and then you add the size difference. He's going to be murking this guy from range. Devin Clark's going to need to shoot, and we haven't really seen Jung tested there, but like he can wrestle too. He took down brolic William Knight 8 times. The guy's a refrigerator walking. He took him down 8 times. That's impressive. That's an unknown, his takedown defense. I don't see Devin, like he's going to be really big and strong. Like for Devin Clark to take him down, that's going to be very difficult. So, and then if he can't get it, I think he's just fucked. Like on the feet, I don't see it at all. So
no, there's no way on the feet. I would be shocked.
And it's funny because like the line opened at minus 240, but money actually came in. That's why you and me got the prices we did.
Yep.
Because for some reason, someone was betting Devin Clark. I wish I knew why. I think I heard one person talking about it. They said he will get the wrestling off. I just personally don't see it.
You know what? If Jung wants to use his wrestling, he could take down Clark easily. His takedown defense is 55%. This dude gets taken down at will. He needs to go for those takedowns so he doesn't get taken down or get pieced up on the feet. Like he has one job to do in this fight. And I don't even think he's going to be able to successfully even do that at all.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention is I think I might have seen something about Devin Clark not letting his dad be in his corner anymore. I'm not sure, but to me, that's something.
He's loud. I remember
because that guy, like I've never competed in MMA. I never did any striking, but I wrestled. I wrestled in high school, and my dad came to every match I had, every tournament. And this man would just scream. Like, I'm Ukrainian, but we speak Russian, so he's screaming in Russian. Because I did judo before. It's called a podnoshka in Russian. It's kind of just a trip. He's just screaming, do that. And I'm always that's all I could hear in my head. I couldn't hear my coaches, couldn't hear anything. I almost wanted to yell back at him, I can't do that right now. So to hear your pops screaming at you, some people might think it's a motivator, but the way he yells, I gotta think it's distracting him. So for his sake, I hope he gets out of there. But yeah, I love Jeong here too.
Yeah. I used to play baseball when I was in like, middle school and like all the way up to college. And I could always hear my dad, like, it wasn't like a big crowd, but like, people are like yelling and screaming. But I always heard my dad's voice too. He's always like, John, you can do it. I'm like, come on, like, stop. You're embarrassing me.
Tajik, I used to know how to read Russian, but I know just enough to know what that says. It does say podnoshka, what I was saying before trip. I'm almost positive. But yeah, we'll move on. And we've got our main event. Such a disappointing main event. I feel it's been scheduled once.
I hope they actually fight this one, though.
Yeah, I do too. But I feel like we will. There's a few things I do want to talk about. Like, remind me to bring it up. The picture of Derrick Lewis recently. The 205. I'll just talk about it now. Like, if you look at it, he looks like he's going to 205 almost, which some people might take as a good thing. I feel like it's not a good thing. Like, why would you want to become smaller than your opposition?
For a wrestler.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, go down in weight then. Don't do it and then still fight in your weight class. I don't really see what the point is. But anyways, we got Derrick Lewis and Serghei Spivak. Lewis is 26, 10-0, 37 years old. He's 6'3" with a 79-inch reach. And I do believe he just does his own camp. And Spivak, he's 15, 3-0, 28 years old. So he's going to be, what is that, 9 years younger? Yes, 9 years younger.
Almost 10.
I'm not a math person at all, Johnny. 6'3" as well, 78-inch reach, giving up 1 inch in reach. And, excuse me, as for his camp, it says Polar Bear Team. I'm almost positive he's at Extreme Couture. If anyone knows otherwise, let me know. I feel like I've seen him there on his Instagram, but I don't remember perfectly. And I think it's my turn. I'll start this off, and it's fairly simple, right? Like, Lewis can't win minutes. He's got a terrible output, only looks to counter strike. And he doesn't even, like, we saw in the Ivanov fight, right? He was shooting for some reason, but he was shooting and it actually worked once. He's not even trying that anymore. So I just, like, he needs a KO. And I never, ever, ever bet on guys who need just a KO. I don't like it. I don't like sitting there watching them get beat up until they land a power punch. I just don't think it's a good strategy. And of course, that cost me a ton when I bet Curtis Blades against him. I was like, he has to land the perfect shot. And what does he do? He lands the perfect shot. Like, actually perfect. The way he just hit that on, like, I remember watching, I couldn't even see what landed that knocked him out like that. And then they showed the replay, this uppercut. Like, that was crazy. So, of course, he's dangerous. And that's why I'm not really willing to play too much on Spivak. We have seen him get knocked out. Aspinall, I don't take into account at all. Aspinall is an absolute stud on the feet and on the mat. Walt Harrison, 2019, not a great look. But he's a power puncher, right? So that's why Lewis obviously has a chance. But other than that, I think on the feet at range, it's Spivak. Output is Spivak. Wrestling is Spivak. And I know we talk about Derrick's ability to just stand up whenever he wants to, but I don't think that's really going to be here. I think Spivak is going to hold him down. He's super dangerous with the ground and pound. And there was one thing I was looking at. I was thinking about the Spivak submission, possibly, and it's sitting at, that's not even that good. Plus 360 on FanDuel. I would have liked something much wider than that. I was thinking maybe like plus 600 or something, but
that'd be better for sure.
Yeah, but my side is definitely Spivak. I'm not going to play it straight just because I don't want to lay 2.3 units on this against Derrick Lewis, honestly. And all I did was I parlayed Spivak with my guy Islam fighting next week.
Sure.
That's all I'm doing with that. I just played them for a unit. I think it came out to, like, I'll tell you right now, it was like minus 128 just for a unit. Okay. And I'm calling it a day there. How about you, Johnny? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I like Spivak here. I liked him in his last when they were supposed to fight too, and I think I parlayed him at that time. But you know what? I don't think I'm going to parlay him here. I think I'm getting right now. I think the line's a little bit wider than it was before that, so I'm going to stay away. I'm going to look at the under. I know it's set at 1.5, but I want to look at the under 2.5. Maybe even fight doesn't start round 4 or something like that. Maybe put that in like a safe parlay if you want to say. But or maybe even just look at Spivak inside the distance. I don't know exactly what that's at yet. I don't think those props have dropped. Do you have those numbers or no for that?
Yeah, they're out. I'm looking
Oh,
real quick.
I know
Spivak.
on DraftKings it's not there yet.
Yeah, it's FanDuel and a Bet Online. Let me check. Spivak ITD minus 170 on Bet Online. That's all we have.
That's not that great.
No, that's ugly.
I don't like that at all.
Spivak by decision is plus 600.
I mean, 5 rounds.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Lewis has said multiple times he does not want to fight 5-round fights, but it seems like he always fights 5-round fights. So what the heck? But yeah, I don't see this fight going to the 4th round for sure. So I would look at the unders. Maybe if you like the under 1.5, I think the 2.5 is pretty safe. Spivak money line, if it's about the same, I think it's safe. But like you said, Lewis is always live for that perfect knockout shot. And the only thing that might worry me is if Lewis has something different, if he wants to change up his game, if he goes in rushing Spivak, maybe Spivak crumbles and gets knocked out. We've seen Aspinall did that, and Harris kind of did that as well. So that could be one way to get Spivak to not take you down is go forward, make sure you're going forward, push him back, and go for the knockout. And that Lewis could win maybe in the first minute. So that's what's scaring me a bit. I kind of can see that happen, but I like Spivak here still. I think he gets that takedown, and
Honestly,
it's going to be over after that.
now that you said that, I was thinking like in the Tai Tuivasa fight, Derrick Lewis was actually leading for the most part. Like he was the one going ahead and leading the exchanges, which if he does here, then he is probably very, very live.
Even if he picks a spot, like maybe he'll start slow like he usually does. And then once he sees that right opportunity, he'll just rush in there and just go for the knockout. What's he have to lose? He's 37 years old. He's not going to win a title anymore. And I think that's his best chance to victory is to try to go for that knockout early. And if he doesn't get it, we know he's not going to win. Why plot and stay on the feet and not do anything for 5 rounds? Like that's just he waits and waits and waits and waits. Try something different. Maybe they'll surprise Spivak and win. But I'm still gonna go with Spivak though.
Do you think? Yeah, me too. But do you think Derrick's job is on the line here? He's lost 2 in a row. This would make 3 if he lost. What do you think?
I don't think it's on the line yet. He's getting up there in age, but I think he's still serviceable, and I think he's a good fan, favorite guy. So I think he's still marketable enough to where they'll give him some like younger guys or up and coming guys, maybe, and he'll fight for maybe 3 or 4 more fights. I would say he's like, I don't know. Well, one thing about Lewis too, though, if he knows he's going to lose a lot of the times, he kind of quits, which I kind of don't like about him a little bit sometimes. Like you can see him get hit, and I'm always like, well, he thinks he's gonna lose, so he like kind of goes down. He's like, I'm done. So that's another thing too. I maybe an easy like rear naked choke. He'll just like tap real quick or something like that. So that's what I'm kind of thinking happens too. He'll get down. He'll get taken down. He'll try to get up. He can't get up. And then he'll like kind of be like, all right, just take my neck real quick so I can just tap real quick. I'm out.
I kind of really like the sub. I just wish they gave us a better price. I don't like this price. But yeah, I don't think either.
What's the knockout price? Just KO.
Let's see. It is
inside the distance sucks though.
Yeah. Plus 135 for the knockout. I guess that's
I wonder if
it includes the feet and the ground. It's plus 135.
I would say it's going to be ground and pound knockout. And I think probably a lot more Spivak has more ground and pound knockout finishes than submissions.
Let me check.
1, 2, 3. 3 out of his last 4 wins.
Subs. He has 7 knockout wins and 6 sub wins.
His last sub win was against Ty in 19 in the UFC. I'm just looking at UFC.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has 3 ground and pound knockout wins in the UFC. So 3-1. I mean, I can see him getting the rear naked choke real quick, and he's going to tap. Lewis will tap immediately, just like Yeon did to Glover, like immediately.
Like an arm triangle or something. That's
yeah.
What
Yep. That'll be an even easier tap.
Yeah.
But I can also see him like getting on his back and just go boom, 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 and then he's like wave it off, like, and I think the ref will just call it immediately.
Yeah.
Either way, I think Lewis is going to get finished, but there's a chance.
Yeah, I'm on the same side. I agree completely. I'm just not willing to risk much on it because of the way Derrick is. And I do think he's going to stay for a long time. I think they're going to give him the Alvey treatment where it's like even more than Alvey, because Alvey wasn't even exciting. I don't know what that was. I don't know what he has on Dana, what that was, but Derrick Lewis is dope. Like he's exciting. He's funny as hell. So why cut him even if he's just losing? Like he's still fun.
Exactly.
And when
he's a fan favorite still.
What was that, Johnny?
He's a fan favorite still.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite thing ever, I always think back to it, when Joe Rogan was like, why'd you take your pants off? Because my balls was hot. Best thing ever. I was dying the first time I saw that. Talk about a real person. Like,
or throwing his cup in the stand and saying, like, that's something. I don't remember if he said something like it's an NFT or something like that.
Dude's hilarious. But all right, we're on the same side, and that is a card. It's not great, but hey, we've got UFC 284 coming up to be excited about. And yeah, so you guys know me, Couch Warrior Pod, Twitter, that's where you find all my picks, Bet MMA as well, YouTube, Couch Warrior Podcast. As for content for this week, I have scheduled, Thursday, as usual, me and Propaholic are going live for our Twitter space. It's going to be 6 p.m. probably now because I think even your show is at 7 p.m. now.
Yeah, we switched it to Thursdays. It worked better for Cody.
Yeah, so we're moving it back because of you guys and because of other people.
Sorry.
Time slot. All good. But we're moving back to 6. And then I am going to put out a Bellator video. I've already got a bunch of bets. And I'm pretty damn excited to break that down. I think it's a really fun card and probably even more fun than this one. But Johnny.
And it's right before this card too.
Hell yeah. But Johnny, thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate it. Tell everybody where to find you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me again. You can find me at Johnny K Picks on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. If you haven't heard of me before, me and Cody from Blood Money MMA Bets, we always have our live stream where we break down the fights every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we also do like pre-show fight breakdowns with a couple other guests right before the fights. We're not going to do one this weekend for this fights because me and Cody are going to be on DFS, Brady's little show for this week. It's an hour before the fights start. So definitely check that out on his channel. We'll be on there, me and Cody. I believe Patty the Addy, Patrick will be there as well. So that'll be a fun show. We're just gonna go over like our 10
Patty the Addy. Are you talking about
Patty the Addy? Yeah, that's his new nickname, Patty the Addy.
Why?
It's Patrick, and it's Addicted to Combat, Patty the Addy.
I love it.
So yeah, but for DFS though, we do like a little we're gonna do like you pick our 10. Try to pick 10 bets and like our like fake units and see who comes out ahead at the end of the show or after the fight. So definitely check it out though. It's an hour before the fights. We'll be on there for DFS.
I was gonna say originally when you said you guys aren't doing the fight, is it a companion you guys do or just a pre-show?
Sometimes we do fight companions and sometimes we do pre-shows. We were thinking about doing a fight companion, but man, the time is just going to be stupid. That's what I thought you were gonna say. We don't want to be up till 7, so we're not going to do one this time because we're going to be on that show, and we're going to cancel that one. But next time we're going to have one before the pay-per-views. I think we're actually going to do that one Friday night before UFC 284, Friday instead of Saturday.
Gotcha. All right, guys, that's me. That's Johnny. Thank you all for tuning in. Somehow a really good amount of you have stuck through all the technical difficulties. We made it. Look at my camera. It looks crystal clear somehow.
1080, baby.
And hopefully by next week, I'll have my thing set up. The camera will make more sense. And I won't be rushing with a broken computer hitting up Johnny in panic. So thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck with all your bets, regardless of the promotion, and peace out.
Later, man.